What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Ask an Atheist. I am stepping in for notes from Autumn today. So I'm your host, Ethan, and my guest for the evening, Pasta Mike. Pasta, how you doing?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for doing it. I've been excited to pick your brain on a bunch of stuff. But first and foremost, I didn't do my due diligence in this one area. Where did the name Pasta Mike come from?
Well, it's just something that I came up with in like 5 minutes. It's satirical. It's like making fun of
The spaghetti monster?
Yeah, pastors, and just very silly. It took me 5 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, my name is Mike. So like my real name is Mike. So.
Oh, no, I figured that.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, why are you an atheist?
I just don't believe the propositions of God claims.
And did you have a heavy transition like some people?
No. My mom is a believer, and she never forced it on me, luckily. But I just never thought it was anything to take into my adult life. When I was a teenager, I just thought it wasn't believable. I didn't buy it. It wasn't anything I could do with the natural world. So
that's while I believed, that's how I felt about like prayer and church. When I saw everyone singing and getting on their knees, it just didn't make sense to me. And when my mom first tried to explain that Jesus is God, God is Jesus, but he's not this, like Jesus isn't God, but he is. I'm just like, this story makes sense to other people because it doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Very similar. I kind of felt the same way. I was lucky though that my mother, because I was raised a single mom, she did express that she believed, but she never pushed it on me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what got you into atheist activism?
Well, I've lived in America now for 20 years, and I'm in my early 40s. So it wasn't until I got to the South that...
You look good for your early 40s. I was thinking like, 32, 33.
Oh, no. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Flattery does get you everywhere, though.
Only if it's not bullshit. I do try to compliment people and show them the positive sides, but I never like to bullshit or lie.
Well, and then in that case, I do appreciate it. No, but when I got to the South, I really was faced with the abundance of dogma and how, like, uneven the scales are with like how disproportionate atheism is, or the lack of belief or disbelief, to how forced down your throat Christianity is, and Christianity in general. So I just thought it was time to start speaking on how simple it is just not to believe.
So it sounds like atheist activism is important to you, and you want to, reach as many people as possible.
In the normalcy of it, yes. Not necessarily to go and argue with everybody you see, but just to do a better demonstration of what not believing in deities is.
So when you say normalizing atheism, what specifically do you mean by that? And do you think there is a difference between normalizing atheism and atheism awareness?
Yes, I do. I think they both can be, they both can work together. But with normalizing atheism, you first have to understand that atheism is just not believing in deities. That's it.
Right.
And if you're an atheist, you don't have to be the same as your pal who's an atheist, right? You don't have to have the same other beliefs or disbeliefs. But those other things can misrepresent what atheism is. So people who are not atheists could judge you based on someone else who happens to also disbelieve in deity. So you have to understand that, like, if you go somewhere where the mass majority believe, they're going to have that usually as the default. They just assume that if you disbelieve in a deity, that you're probably just like the people they've had previous experiences with, which is untrue.
See, and that's, why I think for us, sometimes it's important to take those extra steps to show we can be, positive and loving, so Christians can see that, not all of us just want to like argue with them or tear them down. Like, there are other sides to us.
Sure.
How did you go, like, it sounds like you went on your own now and you started normalizing atheism. Why is that?
So I used to run and direct the Atheist Roundtable. Shout out to Tang, now the Atheist Network Group, with amazing activists like Oz, Murder Shed
Oz is
Steve.
awesome.
Yeah, awesome dude. Murder Shed Steve, Nate. In fact, there's so many to name now. But
Yeah,
originally,
it's like 20 people. It was originally like 6 of you, right?
well, it was J. Mike, myself, Steve, Jeff, and Oz. You know, we were the
Okay.
pioneers of it, and it was a goal to somewhat normalize atheism, but with a bit more of a humorous approach, and to start a panel and maybe have conversations. But there's a lot of different personalities, and you can clash creatively. It doesn't necessarily mean it's negative, but you have different ideas and goals. And my goal was something what you're seeing now currently with my channel.
So when you say your goal, could you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. So I'm not somebody that comes from a theological background or a religious background at all. I don't suffer with any trauma, which I have empathy for people that do. So
Same.
if you bump into people that have just recently come from religion, they usually come with the need to express it, and I know that there's an area for that. But my goal is to take people who disbelieve in deities and just differentiate between the negative approach and what we can do to make atheism positive.
So, in trying to make it positive, what type of shows are you trying to do?
Well, I'm just trying to chat with folks that do believe. I'm trying to have conversations with people that believe, and to have them understand that it's not always about who's right or wrong. It's more to do with why do you believe?
Right.
What good reasons do you have? And maybe they can ask me why I don't.
Yeah, and you've actually helped me out, and I don't want to go too much into this, but I always try and be as friendly as possible. Um, and there are times where I get frustrated because, we being on the front lines, I'm sorry, I don't have a better word than that. We are prone to getting attacked far more often. And at times it can be overwhelming. It's like when you're getting it from all directions, you open your Twitter, then your Discord and your Facebook, and you're like, holy shit, like it can be overwhelming. But you and I have had a few conversations that have really helped me out and remember the importance of trying to be as patient and charitable as possible. So what keeps you going? Like, how do you stay that positive and focus so heavily on staying as friendly as possible? So what seems like so easily.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with me. I'm presuming this, by the way. I would assume and presume that it's likely to do with I don't have the negative connotations that come along with the belief. I don't hold the ex fundamentalist elements that some people do, so they don't
Okay.
have that reason to want to attack or go and argue with people that may have hurt them or taught them things that they might not want to have been taught, for example. But I also am just a person that doesn't really want to argue with anybody, typically anyway. So a lot of it might be to do with my upbringing and personality, maybe.
So did you ever run into or have any type of angry atheist phase?
No, I've been angry, but it hasn't got anything to do with my atheism.
Have you found, like, do you right now have any triggers? Like, to give you an example, I have found that, like, one of the conversations that triggers me is marijuana because
Mm-hmm.
I see, people having no issue, particularly like Christians on the right, with drinking. In fact, most of my Christian friends do drink and they push alcohol. But then when it comes to weed, you get this cockeyed look, and it's like, I'm sorry, but weed is safer, in my opinion, than alcohol, and
Yeah.
it should be legalized federally. So that is a topic, especially because of how much it's helped me, that upsets me when I'm going against people who are against it. What is something that does that for you?
Well, that's an awesome thing to bring up. I think animal cruelty, cruelty to people, hypocrisy. But when you say angry, is define anger really, because I'm my anger. I could look just like I do now, but I could still be.
So you don't have like a or like a frustrated. I mean, I'm sure you get frustrated, but there's never times where you're like, okay, look, asshole, and you just get like more upset than normal.
Yeah, I'm quite a passive aggressive kind of angry person. So that's kind of how I deal with things a lot of time. With when you're 300 pounds and 6'3", you got to be mindful of your anger. You could
Okay.
yeah. I've learned that over,
Yeah,
over
you're a
the
big
years.
dude, man. Oh, sorry. Are you going to be going to the conference?
I'm going to try. Since Austin's moved it to October, it does line up more with my schedule, so I'm going to definitely try.
Dude, I'm gonna have to like to hug you. I'm gonna have to be like, because I'm 5'10", you're 6'4", you're a big dude. But I hope you go because uh it's looking like it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like this is going to be the first time I'm gonna get to be a part of an atheist conference, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, one thing I got to give Oz credit for is his ability to try and at least he tries his best to try and do these types of things. So kudos to him for that.
Yeah, I eventually would like to do the same thing, but it's a lot of work and
Hmm.
I'm not ready to like I don't have the free time to commit to it. Like I'm currently working on an ACA fundraiser. Like do you remember my Recovering from Religion fundraiser?
Yeah,
So we're doing one like that for the ACA where we're bringing on literally as many, not just the hosts, but all the people behind the scenes, Greg, Katie, Martin, everyone that's working um, to put these shows on. And we're shooting for $1,000.
that's awesome. Well, I'll contribute to that. As a matter of fact, I was with Oz the last time you did that. We were in Georgia when you
Oh
had.
yeah, you were at a conference too with Mandisa, right?
Hmm. Yep, on T Jump.
Nice. Yeah, originally I wanted all of you guys on, but we weren't able to work that out.
That's right.
Anyways, back to my question, which I forgot what it was. Do you remember what we were saying?
Yeah, we were talking about like the anger, like do I get angry and things, and I there are things that upset me, and it's typically to do with like cruelty or unfair treatment of individuals, things like that.
So you're not by chance a vegetarian, are you? Like when you say cruelty to animals, just general cruelty, or are you like,
This is something I struggle with actually. I'm not a vegetarian, but I am particular about like where I get meat, and I don't eat a lot of meat. So but I'm very I feel guilty, so I'm pushing the envelope to becoming vegetarian or vegan at least.
I feel that. I've started to feel bad when I eat meat because I start thinking like looking at Bandaid and I'm like,
Hmm.
well, I wouldn't let eat a cat, so why am I willing to eat these other animals?
Right.
And I don't want them getting harmed, particularly like with are you familiar with halal meat?
Yeah, they say it's ethical, but it's really not. It's
Right. I don't know why people, and granted, there could be something I don't know about it, but for those that aren't familiar, halal meat, trigger warning. I'm about to talk about something gross, so I would mute it now for about 20 seconds. Halal meat is when they pray over the animal and then slice its throat and it bleeds out.
well,
It's
just to be clear, most cattle, at least, or food that you eat have its throat cut, but usually it's done after the animal's been stunned, so they're not aware that the throat has been cut. Whereas with halal, it's done just with the animal fully aware.
Yeah, and I know there's supposedly they pray with it and they're supposed to calm the animal before they do it, but I mean, to me, I mean that's like, if I come up walk to you, try and soothe you before I like cut your throat, like why would I do that?
Hmm. I mean, ultimately, it's cruel regardless. But guess there's levels of cruelty on.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a cruel industry anyway. We can try and dumb it down. The American abattoirs and slaughterhouses are equally as disgusting. So
Right. Are you currently taking any steps towards being a vegetarian, or are you like me? I've kind of started to buy some veggie meat, but I'm still a full-on meat eater, and I'm trying to get away from that. And by the way, sorry, anyone watching, if you have any questions for Pasta Mike, just drop them in the comments, and we'll address them.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I should eat more pasta, but no, um, I really am. I'm trying my best. So I've minimized the food intake to mainly fish and chicken, and I can't get away from those two.
No, chicken is hard, but I suck at cooking chicken. Like I always dry it out, so I'm more of a steak person.
Yeah, and steak just traditionally is just the best to eat taste wise, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Here's an odd question from P. Would any of you eat roadkill? I'm going to say no. Can I speak for you on that one too?
Well, ethically, it probably is the best thing to eat if it's safe, if it's sanitary. It would be because it died anyway, I guess.
Allegedly, I was watching this documentary, and I would highly advise fact checking me on this. But supposedly, in some animal foods, when it contains byproduct, it allegedly can contain roadkill,
Hmm.
which I find, but I guess it needs to go somewhere. But that's so gross. So I started. If anyone in the comments could actually double check that for me, I started like being more. I make sure that all the food I get my cat is real chicken or real meat.
Hmm. Your cat is one good looking cat, by the way.
He is. He's adorable. I really lucked out with him.
Yeah, I would
Do you
agree.
have any animals?
I do. I got a dog. I got an Australian Shepherd.
Can we see? Oh my God, dude. Those Australian Shepherds are like crackheads.
They are.
My girlfriend has one, and it is so invasive and hyper. Is yours the same way?
Yeah, so I've had two, and my female lived to be 14. She passed, but she was calm and chill. But Leo is how you just described.
Is he super invasive? Like to give you an example, if I'm laying down, the one dog Zara is like can't sit still and is keeps trying to climb like closer and closer to you.
Yeah,
Is your dog like that too, or is just really hyper?
yeah, he is. He's 11, and he's like a puppy still. And he like lays on you and everything.
He's 11, and Bandaid's making a lot, and I don't know if anyone can hear it, but Bandaid is running around like a madman upstairs. Uh,
No, I can't
it's
hear
coming
it.
through. Oh, okay. Is the dog near you?
Yeah, he's taking a nap right now on the floor.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, never mind. So outside of atheist activism, you're also a secular humanist. So
Mhm.
what other topics are really important to you?
Well, Ethan, I think you and I might line up here. I used to really enjoy DJing and music and nightclub work. I think you did some similar stuff, right?
Weddings and bars. I never got into like the club style music because they don't pay as well, but like
Hmm.
the karaoke bars actually pay a lot more than most of those DJ gigs.
Sure,
Weddings, of course, I don't know if you did any of those. Those pay the absolute best. Like that's where if you're a DJ, unless you really get like to top of the line radio DJ, weddings are the way to go.
sure.
A decent wedding DJ makes between $900 and $2,000 a wedding. So,
Hmm.
and there's some of the companies I've worked with, they're having like 13 to 15 weddings every Friday and Saturday. They've got all these DJs and they're just rolling in the dough. And originally that was my goal, but then all my medical shit happened and
Hmm.
I was not able to continue doing the business. I had to get a regular day job.
Folks be getting married, though, don't they?
Sorry, what was that?
Folks get married, pretty much.
Yes.
There's a lot of folks getting married. So weddings stay popping.
Oh yeah, they're always that's one industry that's pretty safe is people are always going to need a DJ.
Hmm. Yeah.
How long did you do it for, and did you do any weddings?
No, I used to do like nightclub stuff, like well, I guess you can consider them raves or like parties.
Okay.
Like the
I have never been to a rave.
hmm.
And I have only in the past year begun to experiment with mind-altering substances.
Mm.
Any experience in that area or anything you're willing to talk about?
No, so I'm an odd guy, right? I've worked in that industry where it fuels the industry, but I never messed with it. So never been one to. I've never smoked. I drink. I do like to drink. I like bourbon, whiskey, and stuff like that. But I don't mess with any stimulants other than that.
See, I actually, when I started this, I was comfortable talking about the ones I experimented with. But after talking to a few like skeptic friends I trust, they're like, you got to, now that you're on a platform, you have to consider the repercussions of talking specifically about what you do. Because
Mhm.
all it's going to take is one person to be like, well, Ethan said this was good. So they take a bunch and now something happens to them and that's on your conscience. And I'm like, yeah, I can't be sitting here promoting any type of, specifically any type of drugs
Sure, you got. I guess you
outside of
be
medical marijuana. I think I'm pretty safe in that area.
right. I almost classify marijuana separately to some stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, Kyle Brewer has a question. What is a way we can normalize atheism with people who have never been exposed to an atheist? I've come across this scenario.
It's almost like you got to be on your best behavior, really. It's like if you're representing a business, if you go and work for a corporate business and you're wearing your business's logo, for example, and you're off hours, you're no longer on your company time, and you go somewhere, are you going to be seen in that attire and represent it correctly? That's the way I would describe it. Because if you're an atheist, you're going to want people to understand that all it is a lack of belief in deities. It's nothing else. If you're acting a fool, and you have to appreciate people are going to take that for what you are. They're going to say, well, he's an atheist, and that's probably why he's doing these things. And you have to better teach people, you know,
Yes.
why it is what it is.
So on that, when we talk about other interests, that's one of the focuses of this show is not to just talk about atheism, but
Mhm.
get to know the person a little bit better, their music, their movies, what they like to do for fun aside from, just talk religion. So if you could, tell me more about you.
Awesome. Well, I love movies. Movies is my thing. So
Same. Ooh, so
all
what are some favorites?
all like 80s movie. I love 80s movies. I
Die
love
Hard,
yeah, oh yeah. Definitely
Christmas movie or not?
definitely Christmas movie.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, definitely a Christmas movie. I will debate somebody on that if they want on this channel. If Ethan wants to set up that's a Christmas movie.
So that would actually be those are some of the things I want to get into more is start organizing fun debates like Star Wars versus Star Trek, Apple versus Mac, like just ways to again more focus on community building where people can turn off their brain and just enjoy the show with some like-minded people.
Sure. Well, the the movies currently I think are struggling. Like there's a lot of Netflix stuff that you watch that you just watch for 10 minutes and turn off. So
Yep,
I think
same.
that yeah, the way that the movies are being made, but quality movies, I think 80s and 90s for me. I do watch a lot of those. I love crime movies, crime shows. So sit me in front of a crime series on Netflix, and I'm gone for a few days.
So let's hear some of your recommendations
Okay,
on
so
both movies and TV shows.
okay, anything from the 80s that involves like the high school era, like Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller, all that stuff, right? So
Great movie.
yeah, any of those things. With and I think actually, just to let you know, I think it ties into I didn't get to go to high school in America, so it was like me living vicariously through what I wish I'd had. So that's why I have a liking to that stuff. With crime stuff, I'm watching that uh, Mormons on Netflix with the murder in the Mormons.
I
I think
haven't seen it.
it's quite
Good?
interesting. I haven't gotten through it all yet, but it's very interesting. A little biased mind watching it, but
P wants to know if you like Hallmark movies.
well, I used to watch them when I was married, but I don't anymore. If that tells you anything.
Ooh, how long were you married for?
7 years.
What a coincidence. Me too.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, ended in divorce, but you know,
It did oddly.
fortunately, we're civil in my scenario. It was just kind of, we're both like, we don't click anymore. Like, well, we were never really meant to be together. Like, we'll both say we were friends that shouldn't have gotten together.
Yeah, I can liken that to my situation to a degree.
Kyle Brewer wants to know if you could live in a movie, which would it be? I'm reluctant to answer because I want to hear what yours is. Because if it's cooler, then I'm going to join you in yours.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and I would be, I think I'd be Robin Williams' brother in that movie.
Okay, that's a great movie, but I'd love for you to expand on why you would want to live. Like, out of all the fantasy and drama and cop, how did you land on Mrs. Doubtfire?
Well, first of all, it's one of the greatest movies of all time, and
It's so really good. I wouldn't say of all time, but I'd say, well,
it was
okay, it is up there. It really is up there.
there was a bit of facetiousness there. It's a great movie. It was a great movie of its time, I should say. It was the one that just popped into my head when you asked, and I was just thinking when I saw it, I wished that could have been in it. It's got Pierce Brosnan in it. It's got Robin Williams in it. So it's got all my favorites.
So who's your favorite Bond then? Is it Pierce Brosnan?
No. Oh man, you're probably not going to like me for this, but Roger Moore was my favorite.
Okay, Roger Moore's not bad, but over Pierce and Daniel Craig and Sean Connery?
Sean Connery is my second, but I do like what Daniel Craig has done with the recent stuff.
Yeah, he's really done a good job of modernizing it. Although, do you know who I think would be an awesome James Bond? Someone like, I saw a suggestion of this, and I think it would be cool as Idris Elba.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I would
I
love
agree.
to see, and how like he would bring to life the Bond character.
He's got some tremendous British swag, so I would agree.
So why not choose a movie like one of the Marvel movies? Like, wouldn't you want to have like superpowers and shit over Mrs. Doubtfire? Like, come on,
That's no,
wouldn't
that
being
is
the Hulk be cooler than being Robin Williams' brother?
so you obviously haven't conceptualized being Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire's awesomely gay brother who does makeup to the stars when you were a kid. That's what I imagined being. But
Oh, okay.
I actually thought I was going to be a hairdresser when I was a kid. I'm like the that was my dream type of thing. But
So what stops you from getting into that?
I think my hair fell out at one point, and then I was like, I got nothing to
No, it
practice.
didn't. I can see a full head of hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you
could.
got a full head.
No, I was like, you know what? I do like those Marvel movies. They're great, and the cinematography, the editing is phenomenal. The money is well spent. But I can when I watch a movie like Mrs. Doubtfire or movies that are indicative of, I can literally place myself in those movies. I can't in the other types.
So you feel okay, I get that. You feel more connected and like it's a world you agree with in a way, or can just coexist in better than you could in a Marvel movie.
Sure, the Marvel movies are phenomenal takeaways. Like take if you're depressed or if you want to get out of reality for a moment and just immerse yourself in phenomenal visuals. Just get into that sort of thing. But some of these realistic movies that are based on reality, you can actually place yourself in and just oh, I could be this person's friend or so forth.
Who is your favorite superhero, or I guess Marvel character? And if so, not only which is your favorite, which one would you want to be?
Oh, Marvel character. Okay, because my favorite superhero is definitely Batman, the Dark Knight.
Ooh, okay. Then I have to ask, which, excuse me, which Batman is your favorite and why?
Okay, Michael Keaton in the 1989 Batman is my favorite, and why is because of the nostalgia of knowing my mom took me to see that in a castle cinema in the UK because I begged her and she didn't want to go because she didn't like that stuff. And it was in the UK they would classify movies as 12 or it was I was only 10, so she took me to see it. I remember it vividly, and it was fun. And it's a Burton movie, so it's fantastic. Loved that movie. Prince, Jack Nicholson. I mean, what more do you want?
No, it is great, and I'm torn between um, him and Christian Bale because I love how grounded they are. I think Christian Bale's Batman, or sorry, Christopher Nolan's Batman,
Yeah,
is slightly more grounded in and real than Michael Keaton's, but or than Tim Burton's.
I
But I
would agree.
really enjoy them both.
I would agree that it's more Nolan than it is Bale. Like I think what Nolan has done with that franchise is phenomenal and untouchable, actually.
Yeah, what people I think often overlook, Dark Knight Rises had its big plot holes, but this is somebody that made Batman, a guy dressed in a bat suit, look cool in the daytime, like
Yeah,
during that end fight. And that making someone, a grown man in a bat suit, look cool in the daylight is no easy feat. And I think Christopher Nolan accomplished that.
yeah. You can't get better cinematography than that guy.
Mm-mm. But back to the Marvel, which one is your favorite?
Marvel, a little bit more cartoony with Marvel. Let's see. I do like the Hulk.
Hulk is awesome. I could see you as a Hulk.
I do like the Hulk. I do like the Hulk. I also like I like Captain America as well.
Yeah, he and Iron Man are my two favorites.
Yeah, the movies, as far as like the movies or the comic book, the movie Iron Man, the movies are great.
They really are. Except number 3. Number 3, well, number 1 was great. Number 2, I think, was okay.
Number
And
one was
number 3
fantastic.
was kinda cheesy, but yeah, 1 was a masterpiece in my opinion.
Yeah, it really was. Game changer. Robert
Yes.
Downey Jr. was like cha-ching.
And the thing is Jon Favreau actually and Kevin Feige had to fight for him,
Mm.
because originally, Disney or sorry, Marvel, they didn't wanna give him a second chance because of his, like, history,
Mhm.
of, like, he had some drug issues, and they fought, and, I'm glad they did, but for those that don't know, we almost lost Robert Downey Jr. In Civil War because the president of Disney, I'm sorry, the president of Marvel, Ike Perlmutter, he thought Robert Downey Jr. cost too much and was replaceable. That's also why Don Cheadle replaced what was the first guy's name? Oh, the first War Machine. I'm blanking. Anyway, that's why he's replaced because Ike Perlmutter's really,
Howard,
really cheap.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard, yeah, who was really good.
I think he was asking for too much money.
He was asking for a reasonable increase,
Right,
which based on the success of the first movie, I think he earned it.
right.
And they could have, probably afforded at that point. So these are pretty short interviews, but the last two questions I have for you is one, what are some other things you'd like people to know about you?
Well, I love music and bourbon, and I spend a lot of time listening to it and drinking it. Those are my two. Those are my two vices.
What kind of bourbon?
Oh man, I love American Kentucky stuff. So I love Buffalo Trace. I love Angel's Envy. Those are my two favorites. But I will drink the cheap stuff as well if that's all that's there.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm more of a tequila person. The only whiskey I've tried and liked is Fireball,
Well,
which
I do like tequila as well. I do. I will drink some Don Julio or some.
Patron.
Yeah, I'll drink some Patron. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I will.
Um, and then what else do you got going on, and where can everyone check you out at?
Well, I saw, and I appreciate you dropping the link. I saw it on Facebook. So I'm at Normalizing Atheism. That's on the YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. And Ethan is a wonderful supporter of the Facebook group that we have over there on Facebook. It's the Normalizing Atheism group. And it's a public
I
group.
love that group.
Yeah, it's a public group. And we just like to have fun and chat about what's cool and what's going on right now.
And yeah, the way that popped up and the jokes that got started on there, I'm like, dude, this is my kind of atheism, because that's what I want to do. Like, I don't want everything to be so serious all the time. I want us to be able to laugh and have a good time and, just enjoy the show.
Sure. That's what it's all
Um,
about.
do you have any other shows coming up that you'd like to promote?
Well, I'm in the process of moving at the moment, so I'm going to be on pause. But I do have some little things coming up. I'm probably going to be dropping some clips over the next few days, maybe to a week. But I do have some shows lined up, and I'm going to keep those under wraps. But I do have something coming up with you that we've been talking about. I want to get you on for an interview with somebody, if that's still okay.
It is still, yeah, I didn't want to bring it up, but Pasta asked if he could interview myself and my girlfriend, and we'll be talking briefly about like atheist relationships and how they're different. She's so nervous because she's not an on-camera person. I'm like, you're going to be fine. It's no big deal. It'll be a fun time.
Yeah, it'll be similar to this. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And lastly, for those that don't know, Mike, you are a tremendous community builder. Like with the Facebook group, with your channel, you are really good at bringing people together, and it's extremely admirable.
well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Pasta Mike, don't go don't go anywhere. Like, subscribe, and if you want to see more of him, check out the links in the description.